begin to the hope we want to live. It's a time to start a new beginning again. Pick up where we left off and start to refresh, restore this temple, renew, yeah. Want you to rebuild, gonna restore our people, renew. It's a time to climb another mountain. It's time to think about how we're living and sign the letters of the times and start to refresh, restore this temple, renew, yeah, rebuild, restore our people, renew. Start again, refresh, restore this temple, renew. We're gonna rebuild, restore our people, and refresh, restore this temple, renew. Rebuild, restore our people, renew. Oh, it's a time to give, it's a time to climb, it's a time to start, it's a time to think about where we give, how we want to live and start to refresh, restore this temple, renew, yeah, renew, rebuild, restore our people, renew, yeah, I want you to refresh, restore this temple, renew, rebuild, restore our people, renew.
Oh, thank you for that, Rachel, and a very good morning to you. Whether you are here in our sanctuary or tuning in from the many ways you can join us virtually, welcome. Welcome to Unity on Greenville, a wonderful place where we practice a positive path for our spiritual living, a place where we greet one another with the wonder of Namaste, Namaskar. My soul honors your soul. I honor that place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the beauty, the light, the truth that is in you. And as I honor that in you, I remember that that is also in me. Because we are one, we are of the same source, we are united, we are the same. So namaste, my soul honors your soul.
Good morning, Unity on Greenville. If I have not met you yet, my name is L.D. Carter. I've been a member of this spiritual community since the 1990s. And in that time, I have served on the finance team. I have cleaned leaves out of the gutters. I have mowed the yard, trimmed trees. I've also been a member of the Board of Trustees and several other capacities. This morning, I'm going to be visiting with you, though, because I'm going to start serving in a different capacity here. As all of you know, Reverend Karen is about to start a wonderful new chapter in her life. and we bless her and we wish her all the best in making that step. What that means for us is that we will begin the search process for a new spiritual leader here. And I wanted to share just a couple of things with you to let you know that that's already underway. First of all, our board has been in contact with our national headquarters, and they will be working with us to get the position advertised nationally. They also will be part or engage with us as we go through the process over the next several months. Also, another thing that's happening is that there will be a team of local folks here from our community, and I will be one of them, who will be overseeing that search process. And so hopefully in the next several weeks, I will be able to share with you the names of those individuals. Their job will be to be in touch with possible candidates to do some initial screening, but then also to bring those candidates here so that you as members of our community will have a chance to hear them, see them, and interact with them directly. So just wanted to share that with you as far as how the process is beginning. And what you can do right now where you are is to hold space. Hold space in anticipation that the process will unfold as it should, and that we will receive the best possible spiritual leader available to us. Thank you.
Thank you, LD. We know the highest and best for unity on Greenville is always unfolding, and the universe supports and honors that. I want to share with you that each Tuesday, Bristol Heart conducts Qigong followed by a time of silent meditation. I joined her and her group on Tuesday, and I literally floated out of the building. So gift yourself 1 hour on Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30 to experience the energy flow of Qigong and a quiet meditation. It's a wonderful hour. Also on Wednesdays, I want to invite you to join our book study. Each chapter stands alone, so if you haven't joined us yet, you can feel free to do that. This Wednesday, the Zoom link is in our website, it's in our e-news message. It's only Zoom, so see you in the ethers. Wednesday mornings at 12:30, I share a midweek pause. And the writings that I'm sharing right now are the writings of Joyce Rupp, fragments of your ancient name. And she has written an awe-inspiring book. And each day of the year, she shares a name for God and how that name might be experienced and lived by us. So join me on Facebook Live every Wednesday at 12:30. And I'm going to ask you to visit our website, for there's a lot that you can do on that website. The first thing is to connect. If you and I have not had a virtual tea or a face-to-face conversation, either on FaceTime or Zoom, let's do that so you can get to know more about Unity on Greenville and make this your spiritual home. There's a connection card under support, under resources, and under Sunday. Just complete that connection card so we might get to know each other a little more. Also, while you're there, please consider how you might support Unity on Greenville with your financial offerings. You can press the donate button, or you can send a check to the address on the screen. Either way, we are grateful for your offerings. Let's pause for a moment so that we can bless those offerings that have already been made and those that are on their way. So please join me in the offering blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. With gratitude, we commit to using these gifts for good. Amen. And while you're at that website, Share with us your prayer requests. Our spiritual care team is always ready, willing, and waiting to pray with you, to hold the high watch for your heart's desires, and to share in your gratitude. So share your requests and your gratitudes, those marvelous things that are happening in your lives. Share it all so that we might pray over it. Know, too, that we share those requests with silent unity. So our spiritual care team prays for the week, and Silent Unity prays for the upcoming 30 days. So let's join our hearts together in prayer. So we center ourselves in this moment, the here and now. We invoke that spirit that is holy, that presence that moves in each and every one of us, expressing uniquely as God. We connect with that spirit, body, mind, and soul. And from that place of conscious connection, we hold all people in our hearts and in the light of God's love. Anyone who may be suffering, anyone who may feel apart or separate from that spirit, may we envelop them in love and compassion and kindness. We pray for those who are the leaders of our cities, our states, our countries. May every nation of the world find a way to live peaceably with one another. May we begin to eliminate the threat of conflict and war. May peace guide all leaders. May they guide from their intellect, their wisdom, and may they guide above all from their divine spirit. May that intuition that is present in all beings be the source of their wisdom and understanding. May they lead their people with compassion. And may we share the resources of Mother Earth, the wealth and bounty of the land. May we share that amongst ourselves so that no person goes hungry. May we share our spiritual nourishment as well as our physical nourishment. We give thanks for this opportunity to come together, virtually and in person. We give thanks for this mighty presence that dwells within us and in this space. In all things we give thanks. Because it is so, we allow it to be. Amen. Allow the sound of the singing bowl to carry you into a time of meditation and contemplation. As the vibration of the singing bowl lifts your vibration to that Christ consciousness, you allow yourself to relax and become at ease in the very seat you occupy, knowing that that seat supports and upholds you in these moments. With your lips slightly parted, breathe in through your mouth, noticing the coolness of the breath. Notice the breath as it crosses your lips. Notice it over your teeth. Notice your breath roll across your tongue to the back of your throat. Feel the sensation of your breath filling your lungs. With the very next breath, do the same. Breathe in through your mouth and notice the enlivened sensation of that breath moving into your heart. Know that with each breath, you are breathing the breath of life. Know that with each breath, God is breathing into you life. Know that with each breath, God is breathing you into the life that carries you to your highest good. With each breath, know that God is breathing life into each step that you take. Every step that you take on your journey. Know that God is breathing life into every intention that you set. Every intention inspired by your divine wisdom. Today, we breathe with gratitude for each and every breath. Gratitude for life-sustaining breath. With appreciation for that which is the source of all love and the cause of all life. With the gentleness of a breath, we return to the sacred here and now. Here and now. Namaste.
lying down to sleep, I pray the truth my soul will keep. Whatsoever things I ponder in my dreaming hour, in my dreaming hour. Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are good, think on these things. Whatsoever things are kind, whatsoever things are love, whatsoever things are good, think on these things. Oh, think on these things. Restoration of my soul, truth is waiting to unfold. Whatsoever I behold and faithfully believe will surely come to be. Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are good, think on these things. Whatsoever things are kind, whatsoever things are love, whatsoever things are good, think on these things. And think, and think, and think on these things. Elevate my soul, elevate my soul, and uphold the truth. And whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are good, think on these things. Whatsoever things are kind, whatsoever things are love, whatever's good, think on these things. And think, and think, and think on these things. And think on these things.
Thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful music. So we row, row, row our boat gently down the stream. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream. Is life a dream? Now, I noticed that it doesn't say life is dreamy. That might entice me to think that it's more like a fairy tale, which we know, in fact, for many people, life can feel more like a nightmare that they would like to awaken from very quickly. So as real as every experience that we have feels, as real as it seems to us, our lives are lived very much like a dream. Very much like a dream. It's not that we're asleep through life. Everything happens to us. We weigh it and measure it through the lens of our past experiences, through the filter of our belief systems, our life values, and all of those things that we were taught through our family, through our institutions, through our cultural practices. All of those participate in us evaluating and determining how our life is. So have you ever had a conversation with someone and you walk out of the room with two totally different understandings of that conversation. We never know what another person is walking away from a conversation with us is taking with them. We never know. Siblings, and I've noticed this in my very own family, and I'm one of 3 girls, that we grew up in the same household with the same parents, essentially the same set of values and morals and culture, and yet all 3 of us have a very different perspective on our childhood and on life in general. We interpret every experience of life from our own unique perspective and perception. It's important to keep in mind that any one of us rarely has all of the information about any given situation. So we are making conclusions and judgments and decisions based on an incomplete picture. Incomplete picture. So a true story from a few years ago. My very dear friend Pam called me one afternoon to share that she had just been laid off of her job, and it was very near the Thanksgiving holiday. And my mind just went into a very excited state of thinking, oh my gosh, how could anybody do that so close to the holiday? That's awful. No judgment there, right? Who lays someone off just before a holiday? Evidently, it happens. It happened to her. That is such an awful thing to do. There I went back into judgment. Would she have enough money for holidays with her family? There was my finest fear dumping. And over my own inner voice, I heard these words from Pam's mouth. I am so relieved. I wanted to quit, but I didn't have the courage. Now I can pick up my granddaughter from school every day. I don't have to drive an hour plus every day of the week, and I can have relaxing holiday with my family. Wow. Hearing those words spoken from Pam, my inner voice halted immediately. Shut it off. With that came a perfect lesson. I went into possibly how I would respond to that experience, not at all like Pam responded to that experience. It was a gift and a blessing for her to now have time with her family for the holidays, to avoid the craziness on the roads. How that spoke to me, that my stories are exactly that. My stories. Your stories are exactly that. Your stories. Our perception and our perspective based on a multitude of things. And with everything we do in our life, moment by moment, every day, we make a choice on how to interpret our story. If we have been taught by family and society that life is tough, you work hard, it's not always fair, but you'll get by, that's the kind of experience we're probably going to have. And if we were taught that life is joyful, there's fairness and equitability in life, we do our part and then we enjoy the outcome. We will see our experiences from that lens. And as we grow emotionally and spiritually, we have the ability right within us, the power in us to change how we were taught to perceive. We can change and release those old beliefs. We can shift and alter to a higher truth so that we can live a balanced life in truth. So let's look at a couple of ways that we perceive life in our spiritual consciousness. If we are thinking, wonder why that happened to me? What am I doing to cause that to happen to me? We feel as though we have no charge over what's happening in our life. Life happening is out of our control. This is victim consciousness. We are at the mercy of life. And as we grow and learn to take charge of our thinking and to take charge of our experiences, perhaps we realize that we do have some control in our life, and we begin to exercise that through our spiritual practices. We begin to feel like the victor in our life. The only thing is, if we are the victor, there is likely a victim. If we are the victor, who is the victim? So we continue to grow and expand in our spiritual consciousness and maturity, and we realize that we are unique and beautiful expressions of that divine essence. By whatever name you call that energy that guides your life, that we are unique expressions of that. There isn't a need to have a victor or a victim. Life is happening and guiding us to our highest good if we take the time to figure it out. If we pause long enough to see the good. This is what we call vessel consciousness. We are the vessel of that divine essence. And as we grow even more in our spirituality, we move to a consciousness that we call Verity Consciousness. It's an understanding of our oneness. It's the Namaste, Namaskar spirit. We are of the same source, one source, many names for it. One source, one energy moving in every part of this universe. So we can really let go of ever being the victim of anyone or of any experience. We don't have to be the victim, nor do we need to be a victor. We realize life experiences through the lens of oneness. We also recognize our contribution to that oneness. And through that oneness, life is a shared experience. Just as we are sharing in this time of community here and now, life is a shared experience. So if you think that person standing at the corner asking for your coins is them, not so much. It is a shared experience. We get to be part of their experience. They get to be part of our experience. By calling our compassion, perhaps. By calling us to social action, perhaps. By calling us to the next right step for us. Whatever that may be. We no longer have to cling desperately to our perception and our rightness, to our story, the story that we dream, the dream that we perceive, or the story that we tell, that story that is built on incomplete information. There's a licensed Unity teacher here in Dallas whose name is Lisa Walker. I have the privilege of knowing her. And this week she posted on Facebook, and with her permission, I share this today. And on her post she wrote, I wrote this in October of 2017, 2 months after being diagnosed with stage 2B invasive breast cancer, and within 1 month of having a mastectomy. Sometimes I surprised myself. I still believe every word. And those words are, I have walked past these flowers growing through a crack in a driveway almost every day this summer. I am constantly amazed at the force towards life in nature. More recently, these beauties are a reminder that where we are cracked, God can come in, and life will spring forth. Feeling gratitude for the places and the ways I have cracked open over the years, problems have been transformed to blessings. It's all a matter of perspective. So what perspective do we hold? Do we hold, oh, poor me, life is happening to me? Do we hold the victim? We have the right and the ability to choose that every day, every moment. Or do we move into that Verity Consciousness where this life is a beautiful experience shared by all, lived by all? Our book author, Steve Lane, tells us, since you never really know everything there is to know about a given situation, and since everything you perceive is colored in some way by your interpretation of it, then all perception is in some way a degree of misperception. So here we are, walking through life, filled with misperceptions. When we realize that, it gives us spaciousness. It gives us grace to allow other people's opinions, thoughts, and their perspective and perceptions to perhaps integrate with ours, at least to touch ours. These weeks and years of COVID have been a bold and brilliant reminder. I had my ideas about what it was. I had my thoughts. And I realized somewhere along the way that it's just that. It's my thoughts. It's my opinions based on what I've read and what I've researched and what I've decided and concluded. So I started reaching out to someone that I have great admiration for and respect for, who thinks the polar opposite of me. And she sends me YouTube videos, she sends me documentaries, she sends me literature to read. So my opinion may not change, but I might soften to allow space for the opinions of others to sit side by side, to let go of my judgment of right, wrong, good, bad, and just allow different to abide. This has been a profound experience to learn and live every day. Our perception guides and leads us. Our misperception is often our biggest guide. And if Stevens tells us, if we are suffering because there's a difference in where we want to be and where that divine flow has carried us, we can simply let go. We can let go of what you think you know. We know statistics, and we know that statistics can be written in such a way that they can prove any side of an argument. A good statistician can do that. We know what we read. Let go of what we think we know. Let go of what we think our good is. Allow room for the divine to inform us of what our good really is. There has been one time, maybe two, maybe 1,000, where I thought I knew what my good was. And lo and behold, when I stubbornly, willfully carried myself to that, oh boy, it didn't turn out to be so good after all. So allowing that divine to inspire us to what our good really is. Relax with it. Be a little more flexible. Move like Gumby in the world. And let go of how we think we should arrive at a destination. Remember last week we talked about going upstream to go downstream. Let go of what that journey has to look like. Very rarely is a destination a straight and narrow, neat and tidy path. Think of the biggest, greatest blessing in your life. And think of the messy, sloppy, mucky journey to get to it. And yet it was worth every bit of the untidiness. It was our greatest blessings. Steve tells us a story in this wonderful book that he was laid off from a job. For many years, he was an advertising copywriter, and he did that job for over 30 years. And the last company that he worked for, his big account was American Airlines. That's a pretty big account. And then September 11th, 2001 happened. And we all know what that day was. After that day, American Airlines decided they would not do any advertising for the upcoming quarter. You can imagine what that meant for Steve and his company. His company immediately went into downsizing, letting go of people who they could no longer support. Steve being one of them. His first reaction, he admits, is fear. How was he going to support himself without a job? How was he going to go to the doctor if he didn't have his health insurance? He also wondered, how would he be able to get another job at his age? All of the same worries and concerns that many of us would have if we were suddenly released from a job. And on that very first night of his unemployment, Steve didn't sleep very well. He was fearful. Life certainly wasn't a dream. It was more of a nightmare for Steve. And then suddenly, he was overcome with a profound sense of well-being. What he realized was being released from his job would be a tremendous blessing. Because he had been laid off and not fired, Steve was then eligible for a compensation package. This gave him the luxury of choice. He could choose to stash that compensation package and search for any job that came along that could help him pay his bills and meet his financial responsibilities. Or he could step into faith, use that compensation package to do something that had been a long time desire of his. The more he thought about it, the more he meditated on it, it became very clear to Steve about what was his to do. Truth was, his being laid off was indeed a blessing. It was an opportunity if he used it as a gift. Steve was open and receptive, and he was willing to see the experience as the gift. And because of that, he used his time to write this marvelous book called Row, Row, Row Your Boat, a guide to living life in divine flow. Now, Steve reveals another truth, that the Sunday before he was laid off, he actually prayed that he would soon find a new livelihood. a way of living that would allow Steve to use his skills and ability of communication to help others grow in their spiritual understanding and to grow and nurture their spiritual lives. Steve prayed, and the universe responded, probably a little more swiftly than Steve had anticipated, as it often does. But he was clear. So today, we enjoy the gift of Steve's willingness to look at an experience in his life and to hold fast to trusting that that divine flow had his highest good, that God had his back, that his highest good was ready and willing to unfold. All Steve had to do was allow it. A powerful lesson for us today, to be in the stream and to trust ourselves, to listen to that still small voice that guides us always without error, and to follow that divine intuition, to row, row, row in the direction of our dreams, and to know with complete assuredness that the universe supports and honors our divinely inspired dreams. So let's do it. Left hand over right shoulder, right hand over left, and give yourself a magnificent squeeze. You have been hugged, indeed, and loved by me. Namaste.
Wednesday morning, it's the middle of the week, and there's something that I need. Connection to love. Sit quietly as I drink my cup of tea. Feels like the whole world's in a restless state. But I got a secret, it's there when I wait. It's lifting me higher, it's spreading like fire, from my head down to my toes. My love is a magnet, a powerful current, sounding loud across the globe. Yeah, it's a magnet of love overload. Strange phenomenon when I hear that bell and I lose myself. It's brilliant and it's clear, finding the zone of zen in this state I'm in. Even though I'm surrounded by rebels and fools, oh yeah. With my magnet of love, it's a transforming too. Hey, 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 yeah. It's lifting me higher, it's spreading like fire, from my head down to my toes. Yeah. My love is a magnet, a powerful current, sounding loud across the globe. Yeah, magnet of love overload. I got it, a magnet of love overload. I got a magnet of love, a magnet of love, a magnet of love overload.
Thank you for those beautiful, inspiring words. We're a magnet of love overload. We at Unity on Greenville have a vision. Share that vision with me, if you will. We see a world where every being lives in awareness of their sacred oneness and divine light. We also hold an affirmation for our youth and children. We as Unity on Greenville claim the truth for our youth. We speak this into being with me. We teach principles that empower each child and teen to fulfill their divine potential through fellowship, love, prayer, and meditation. They connect with God, each other, and our world. So it is. And of course, we celebrate the daily word today. The word is joy. A growing awareness of God's presence is my greatest joy. Awakening from a restful sleep, I give thanks for a new day and all the people who will be part of it. Although I cannot know what will happen as this day unfolds, I remind myself that everything and everyone might lead me to a deeper awareness of God. This growing awareness is my greatest joy. Even if the day includes less than happy experiences, I will know the quiet joy and comforting strength of the peaceful presence of God that is with me always. I will rejoice today in being alive, able to think, to feel, to appreciate the sights, the sounds, and the aromas that fill my environment. I will discover joy anew as I recognize each person I meet today as a unique expression of the wonder of God. And the scripture is Psalm 118:24. This is the day the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. A growing awareness of God's presence is my greatest joy.
Yes, there is peace on earth. I know it begins in me. Yes, there is peace on earth. The peace that was meant to be with God, our Creator, united are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, there is peace on earth, but this is the moment now. With every step I take, I make this my joyous vow. I take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and I know it begins in me.
Let's go in the world this week and allow that presence of God to be your greatest joy. Let's share our prayer for protection with the world. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Amen.
It's lifting me higher, spreading like fire, from my head down to my toes. My love is a magnet, it's a powerful cannon, sounding loud across the globe. I've got a magnet of love, a magnet of love, a magnet of love over love.